Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Sky's the Limit podcast. My name's Sky, and today's episode is all about finding peace within yourself, living an aligned life, and prioritizing yourself, and then learning how to work productively with overwhelm. I'm very excited for this episode because overwhelm is something I think a lot of us deal with as we live in a world where it's very go, 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 go. And especially with social media, like it's very overwhelming, very like brain stimulating, and there's not a lot of importance placed on just taking time for yourself and learning like little ways where you can just take breaks and slow down and just relax your nervous system. So that's what we're going to get into with today's episode. I hope you will enjoy it and I hope you've had a very beautiful week. Because I think something I've come to terms with recently is learning that basically peace kind of equals acceptance. When you're at peace with something, you've given yourself complete acceptance to just live. And I think when you have peace, complete clarity comes with having peace. And I think that's like a 8-step, 10-step page to gaining peace. To be in a peaceful state, you've got to accept where you are. Because when you've accepted and you don't feel the need to change anything, you're at peace with yourself. You accepting everything, and it's about having complete compassion towards the situation and yourself. You can be at peace with yourself in a bad situation, or you can be at peace with yourself in a good situation, or a stressful situation, or a busy situation, or a loud situation, or whatever that situation may be. You can be at peace with yourself in a whatever situation. When you accept where you are, you're going to feel a lot of clarity and you're going to understand where you are, and you're going to understand, okay, there's either something I can do or there's either something I can't do. And then peace comes, because I think peace is a product of all of those individual things, meaning peace is a product of accepting yourself as you are and where you are, understanding yourself, being compassionate towards yourself, and having clarity that you are okay where you are. And then I guess peace is peace, in complete comfort with where you are. And I think a lot of us were like, oh, like when you think about when you're most at peace with yourself. For me, that's either if I'm having like a slower evening and I'm taking time for myself, like I've had like a movie night and everything just really slow and peaceful. You describe it as peaceful because it is, because you're slowing down, you're taking time for yourself, everything's going smoothly. For some people, peaceful may be in a field, like going on a walk. It's just about having complete clarity and something that gives you a sense of self and something that really aligns you with your higher self. And also living an aligned life and finding peace within yourself. I think they're kind of very like they kind of mean the same thing at the core, but they're worded differently. Living an aligned life is all about giving yourself compassion, understanding where you are, and working with yourself. Aligned life is all about being in complete peace with yourself. Bearing in mind, you can be at peace with yourself and not the outside world, but I think peace within ourselves is so important, because obviously we live with ourselves, we're constantly with ourselves, and I think that's so important. So I think finding peace is really just acceptance. When you're at peace with yourself, it's because you're in complete acceptance with life. And I think people will have different things that make them feel at peace, as I just said. But like, I'd actually also like to touch on something. I ran a half marathon on Sunday, which I did talk about a bit in my last episode about running, and But going into things that find us, things that give us peace. Running for me is that thing. It's all like movement is that thing for me. And I think for a lot of people it will be, or different, like not all, like not, there's not just gym and running that's movement. Like movement could be yoga, movement could be going on a walk, movement could be art, drawing, painting, or moving your arms. You know what I mean? Movement can mean so many things for so many different people. It could be watching movement, it could be watching the lake go by or the ocean. You know what I mean? But I wanted to touch on this because I thought it was a really beautiful thing. Because when I was running my half marathon, it was very hard, not very enjoyable. But when I kind of was in the quote unquote zone, nothing mattered except from me running. Like, that might sound so simple, but if you think about it, when we're walking down the road, for some people, not for all people, you're thinking, "Oh, how are other people perceiving me? Oh, I hope I don't look a certain way, or I hope I do look this way, or I hope I don't look like this, or I hope no one's looking at me, or da 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 da." Da. We're not actually in our bodies. We're not living life through our bodies, and I have talked about this more in depth in, I think, another episode, which is about changing the idea of a summer body to a summer mindset. But I really found when I was running, I noticed, like me last year, I'd be so self-conscious to be in like a sports bra, like it's like cropped top, whatever, and shorts. Like when my stomach's out, I was really sweaty, really, like, my face was bright red. I didn't look aesthetically pleasing. Um, I definitely did not look aesthetically pleasing. I watched my dad got a video of me running. I was like, oh, that's not very flattering, but oh well. Like, it did not matter in that moment of time. It did not even cross my mind how I looked, because I was like, wow, my body's doing this for me, and I'm in the zone. So finding something that gives you complete peace within yourself is so lovely, because yeah, you're just allowing yourself to go into this world of clarity and calmness. And I think it was beautiful because when I was in that state and I was watching videos back, and my brain did go off a bit. I was like, oh, I look a bit like that. I was like, no, no, no. When that, like, you didn't know that video was being taken, but like, also think about in that moment of time what you're thinking. All I was thinking is like, okay, one more step, one more step. And I think that's so beautiful because, I mean, don't get me wrong, I was in a lot of pain, but it was beautiful because I couldn't care how my body looked. All I cared about was the moment I was in. Your body has nothing to do about what you're doing with other things. You know what I mean? Like, when you're living your day-to-day life, your body has nothing to do with it. And I think finding those things that give you clarity and peace, and you can just be you, unapologetically you. Amazing. I think we should all strive for that, to find that thing. And maybe we have found that thing, or maybe we haven't, or maybe we're learning to find that thing, or maybe we're on the verge of finding that thing. Um, yeah, I think that's really beautiful. And I just wanted to touch on it a bit because I don't think I've ever realize that properly. I think I knew I felt like I didn't judge myself in certain scenarios, but I don't think I ever looked at it from that point of view because I was watching the videos back and I was like, oh, wait, why am I judging myself now? Because then I was just proud of myself. I was just in pure awe of myself because I just ran a half marathon. That's insane. My first half marathon. Anyway, um, yeah, okay. So that's that. And I think if you have something, if you're like the first thing that comes to your mind, you're like, oh, that gives me complete peace. That gives me a place just to be authentically me. And I know my brain isn't going to go off to other things. Putting yourself in that scenario, understanding what's given you that, and taking that into the outside world. um, because it's just about like remembering, oh, well, there's not much different. Like, there's no difference between me running and then me, well, I feel like I'm going to judge myself. It's just the piece I'm in. So trying to take that piece with you and thinking, okay, I remember how I felt in this scenario. I'm going to try and help myself and bring that, take the piece out of it and put it in my day-to-day life. I think that's really helpful. And I think if we can all do that with our day-to-day life. And I think the more we can do that, the more peaceful we'll live and the more happier and aligned we'll be in our life. So that's a bit about peace. Um, yeah, okay, so let's go on to, and then I want to touch on prioritizing yourself because I think these four topics, so living an aligned life, finding peace within yourself, prioritizing yourself, living productively with overwhelm slash how to deal with overwhelm, they all kind of, like, the actions you'll take for certain things go hand in hand with certain things. Like, prioritizing yourself will prevent overwhelm. Living an aligned life will help you be peaceful, and being peaceful will mean you're aligned. So I think they all kind of go hand in hand, all these things. So I think it's important that we talk about them. So prioritizing yourself can look different to everyone. For me personally, how it looks, it means in moments where I know, okay, I'm getting a bit stressed, I'm going to take time for myself. Don't be wrong, I don't mean like taking an hour just to have like a self-care moment. Just taking 30 seconds to do some breathing techniques, 30 seconds to get myself a glass of water, 30 seconds outdoors just to have some fresh air, 30 seconds away from my phone, putting my phone down for 30 seconds and thinking, right, okay, 30 seconds away from noise. Whatever it may be, just giving myself complete compassion and acceptance to be like, look, you give yourself 5 minutes, what do you need? And you might not know what you need, and there's definitely moments when I'm just stuck and I feel really stuck, and I think that's something I've been dealing with a lot recently. I've just been completely like, there's been moments in my life where I just feel completely stuck, and I'm like very in the definition stuck, and I feel like I'm like, I just don't know what to do. But then you've got to remind yourself they are just moments. That's not my life. And then I think, okay, what's on my mind right now? I'm like, oh, I've got so much to do and I just don't want to do it. Okay, so let's write down 3 things I can do. Prioritizing yourself is a very broad word. Like, it's very yeah, it's up to you how you want to view it. But I guess, yeah, it's prioritizing yourself, it's prioritizing your own needs. And when it comes to it, putting yourself before other things because you're worth it. And realistically, I think there is also a thing of like, we always want to give to other people, which is great. And that's an amazing thing and a beautiful thing. But you cannot give to other people if you've got nothing within yourself. If you give everything you've got to other people, you have nothing left. So say you've got a friend and you've got yourself. You have like a half, like you're kind of half full right now, like your cup's running a bit empty. You give the rest to that friend. Another person comes to you with it, that's a family member, and they're like, "Oh God, I'm really struggling right now." You've got nothing left to give. You've got nothing. So you give the last drop to that person. Then now you come to yourself and like, okay, I'm exhausted. Like, I'm mentally, physically, emotionally drained. What do I do? So you take a nap, or you have some food, or you just turn off your like devices. You say, okay, I'm done. Obviously, you don't want to get to that point of um where you feel so drained. But if you do, and that is a very normal thing, like, and it's not to say it's a bad thing, it's not to be like, oh God, I did that, I'm a bad person to myself. It's not about doing that, it's just about, okay, what do I do now? Maybe I just need a nap. Maybe I just need some water. Maybe I just need some food. Maybe I just need to do something that brings me joy. Maybe I need to go on a walk. Maybe I need to go see people who fill my cup back up. And I think also I like, honestly, I used to like, I would say 3 years ago, I could never be by myself. Hated it. I always needed to be around people. I never got socially drained, if that makes sense. And then I think last year I was by myself a lot, like a lot of the time. Um, like I thrived off it. And then, but I would say it was quite like a maybe like 60% by myself. It wasn't even that. It was more just like I did fun activities by myself because I found so much joy putting myself first because I didn't do it in the past. And then this year, I've kind of been being a lot by myself and by choice, and I've enjoyed it. And it's weird because I think I kind of went through a phase. I didn't have people in my life who filled my cup back up, so I didn't know what that felt like. I was like, oh, like I'm drained. I need to be by myself. But it's like, like you're gonna have people in your life who fill your cup back up. Spend time with those people, even if your cup is empty. Have those people that okay, if I talk to that person right now, my cup's gonna get 20% filled up, or I'm gonna get like a drop of like water back in my cup, you know what I mean? And I think that's beautiful, and I think just prioritizing yourself can look so different. And maybe, I've said this in other episodes, but having an emotional toolbox for yourself, just so you can be like, okay, that I feel like that's kind of how you prioritize yourself. Just understanding yourself, putting time into understanding yourself and your needs, knowing, okay, if I feel a bit like this, I'm going to do this. Or I'm starting to feel a bit like that, I'm going to do this so I don't get overwhelmed or I don't get burnt out. So I think prioritizing yourself is just key to living a happy and healthy life, and a productive life. And I think moving swiftly on to living productively with overwhelm slash how to productively work with overwhelm. I think so many people have got a different idea of what productive means. I I get stressed out when I hear the word productivity because I'm like, oh God, I'm not productive enough. I haven't done enough today. Um, but I've really changed my mindset over being productive. I used to love being productive. Like, I thought like that was the be all end all. I was like, oh, I got so many things done today. Like, oh, that's amazing. I've scheduled my day down to the minute. Well done, me. Pat on the back. Like, well done. I did that. But now I've kind of been like, how many hours in my day? Like, I saw this quote, I think it was like trending on like socials, and it was like, you can't add days to your life, but you can add life into your days. And I was like, yeah, that sat with me. That really that hit me. And I was like, I have not been doing that. I've been scheduling my day down to the minute, and I haven't had any chance just to live, like breathe. So I've kind of gone with the mindset of, I'm going to see how many things I can do today that make me feel happy, that make me feel joyful, that make me feel connected to myself. Not to say, obviously, you need to do the stuff that you've got to do, but instead of planning my day down to the minute, I'm giving myself half an hour extra to enjoy my favourite TV show, half an hour extra in the gym, half an hour extra on my walk, half an hour extra to plan my podcast. Just little things like that. Or just an hour to do absolutely nothing. And I think this was something I did today. I felt really stuck and I felt really like, okay, I do not know what to do. I don't know what made me feel better because my leg's still really hurting from my half. So it's not like I can go to the gym or run, and I am still limping a bit. So normally I'd be like, go on a walk, clear your head, or go sit on a bench. But it's like, that will physically hurts me. So I can't do that. And I didn't know what to do. So I wrote down all the things that like I needed to do because I realized that was the cause of it. That was the root cause of me feeling stressed and overwhelmed because I had so much on my mind. So I made a little to-do list in my way because to-do lists stress me out. So I just wrote down things I needed to do and all the things, everything, cleared out my mind. So I had so much more space. And it was like I cleared the recycling bin in my brain, which was amazing. And I gave myself half an hour to do all those things as much as I could do, and then I made lunch. I whizzed through those things, and then I made lunch. Then I gave myself half an hour. Then I planned my podcast because that's something I needed to do, and now I'm filming. So that was what led me to feel overwhelmed because I just had so much on my plate. So how to work productively with overwhelm? Um, I think so. Let's talk with the root cause of overwhelm and how to deal with it, because that's how you live productively with it. That's how you work with overwhelm, understanding the cause of it and the why. It's so important to find the why, like why are you overwhelmed? What has caused you to do this? Because if you just live life and like, oh, I'm overwhelmed, like why? Because if you live your life like, oh, I'm overwhelmed. Okay, you had a nap, you feel a bit better. A week later, oh my God, I'm like so overwhelmed. A month later, okay, I'm burnt out now. It's like, oh, what caused you to do that? Because you're just allowing yourself to spiral into this burnout. And because ultimately being overwhelmed will lead to you being burnt out. So understanding why. What are you putting too much on your plate? Is your brain making everything seem bigger than it actually is? Are you overstimulated all the time due to maybe where you're working? Maybe there's too many lights, maybe there's too many noises, maybe the people you're surrounding yourself with is too much at the moment. Maybe just the textures of your clothes. Are you ignoring how you're feeling? So you're bottling up everything. So it's becoming like every inch of you is just really tight. Are you genuinely hurting? Like, have you injured yourself? Are you genuinely tight? Like, do your arms need to stretch? Are your hamstrings tight? I don't know. Understanding your why is crucial because then slowly you'll learn how to work with yourself and your brain. Also, it's so important not to get angry with yourself. Don't get frustrated with yourself when you're overwhelmed. That's the last thing your brain needs to deal with. Understanding why you've gone to the place you are, whether that's because you met up with that certain person and they just do not suit you anymore, and that just overwhelmed your brain because they brought you back to past tense. Not to say that's on them. That's not their fault for making you overwhelmed. I did quotation notes there. That's something that they've triggered in you. That is not on them, that is on you, but they've triggered that. So maybe like, okay, maybe I need to stay away from that person at the moment. Then that's up to me to work through that thing. Maybe for me, I I think, yeah, being overstimulated, like that's what gets me overwhelmed. Obviously, like, yeah, they go hand in hand. But I've noticed I always have headphones on, like I always have headphones on. But I know, so like I have something playing on my laptop, headphones in, listening to it. Then I'll get my phone out. I'll go on social media. My brain suddenly just collapses. I'm like, oh my God, I've fainted. That is something for me that gets me overwhelmed. And I noticed one night I was scrolling my phone, but also listening to something. Sorry, this is so specific, but I know my why, so I know not to do this anymore. But I was listening to something on my laptop, headphones in, but then I was like watching something else. This is probably quite a normal thing. Like I'm sure a lot of people would find it overwhelming. I honestly my brain, especially because it was in the evening, my brain was not happy. So I gave myself, and then I just like did some yoga, and I kind of just calmed myself down, and my nervous system was crazy. So that does not work for me. But I didn't get angry at myself. I was like, oh God, I put myself in this situation. Like, oh my God. Also, it took me like multiple times to not do that and understand why. It's not about as soon as you've done something knowing why and picking apart every section of your life. It's just about noticing things and being conscious. I think if you're conscious with what you're doing, that is okay. If you know you're prone to overwhelm, make life easier for yourself by doing these little steps um, to give you like a little boost. So making a to-do list, if that is something that I know in some scenarios that makes me feel more overwhelmed, but also sometimes it makes me feel relieved. So having like a to-do list, but also different types of to-do lists. So a list of things that have to be done today or in the next hour or 2 hours. Another one that things that just take 30 minutes that you can just tick off within like an hour or something. And then another one with things that can be pushed towards yesterday. So it'd be great if you could do it today, but realistically, they can be done tomorrow. Try not to overcomplicate the list. Don't have too many things on the list. Just giving yourself, okay, I need to do this, this, and that. First list I need to do now, and I'm going to do everything I can to get this list done because that is my job. Minimizing distractions such as noise, people, phones, hunger. So make sure before you start, you've got water, you're full, your phone's been turned off, you've told the people around you that you're working. Just things as little as that, just small little things like turning your phone off. Also, if you're doing something on your phone, um, putting your apps to sleep, turning like I don't know, I've got like an app that just like if I put certain modes on, it turns some of my apps off, which I have in the morning so I don't go on socials. Just turning like socials off or distracting apps, whatever they may be. Maybe turning off music or putting on music to get you like in the zone. Setting yourself up for success, whatever that looks like to you. I feel like I can't tell you what that is for you, so figure that out. Um, know what parts of the day work well for you. Know when your brain's most turned on, when you're most focused. For me, after lunch, I'm drained. Like I'm in a food coma. I need half an hour. So I know after lunch is not a good time for me. But I know in the morning, between like 10 to like 12, that's my golden hour. I can get everything done. So I will do that. And then also between like 5 and 7, I'm also very like I know I can get stuff done. So that's when I'll try and do my bigger tasks. Knowing what environments works best for you. So maybe it's having a tidy space, putting like white noise on, or like peaceful music, or maybe like jamming like rock music, like hard metal music to get you like getting through that list quickly. Or maybe a coffee shop with or without headphones. Or maybe you work best with others, like with friends. Um, yeah, whatever that works best for you. I know that was something that really helped me finding good surroundings. So I know if I do certain things, I need to be in different places. If I'm doing something that I've been put off for ages, I need to be in a very quiet space, something where there's very little to distract me, and I just do it and get it done. But to do other things, like if I'm doing something that I really want to enjoy, I want to have a really nice view so I can enjoy it, I can romanticize it, etc., etc. Working with others does not work for me. I know that, full stop. So I do not do that. Also, working with music for me really does work. Again, find what works best for you. These are all just suggestions. Having the if not now, when mindset and get things done as soon as you think of them. I heard this on a podcast and I just tried it and I was like, oh my God, life is just suddenly better. Like life is suddenly easy. And I love it. Again, it is kind of thing though of when you do it, you kind of get sidetracked, but just do it. Like as soon as you think of it, just do it. That really works for my mind, and I think a lot of people probably will be able to relate. Like if you see something like, oh, I need to put that weight, do it now. Do it now. Oh, I'm a bit hungry, go eat. Go eat. Don't wait until you're too hungry to even cook. Oh, my room's a bit messy. Oh, I'll do it later. But when's later? So if not now, when? Doing things as soon as you think of them. Oh, I need to fill up my water because I know I'll be thirsty in a bit. Do it now, because then you have your water and then you can get in the flow of things. And I think it's just about like with this specific thing, being in the flow of things. I think it just opens up flow. And I think it all works well. So doing things when you think of them, and whether you're writing something down and it inspires you, and like, oh, I thought of that, write it down straight away. Because I used to just think of things and then I wouldn't write them down and I'd forget them. So yeah, doing things as soon as you think of them. Whenever you feel you can and you have the space to start doing these things, start them. having an emotional toolbox, literally writing things down that help you and you feel certain ways, having them, sticking that on your wall, honestly is so important because if you're on your bed procrastinating and you see on your wall, if I'm procrastinating, if I do this, I'll feel better. Having that, so you don't even have to use any brain power. Like, go get a piece of paper, go get a pen, write. It doesn't have to look pretty. If you want it to look pretty, write it down and make it look pretty tomorrow. Stick it on your wall. Bing bang bosh. Done. Fabulous. And yeah, I think that's really important. So yeah, you want to be able to manage the overwhelm so it doesn't become burnout slash your body forces you to take a break. Burnout is so common, and by putting these things in place, hopefully it will minimize it. You will leave yourself feeling less stressed, more energized, and more present and at peace with yourself. That's something I've noticed. I used to be constantly in a state of it was constantly looking for the next thing, constantly not appreciating myself, just constantly stressed, I would say. Not stress is the wrong word, but just really not living in the present, which caused overwhelm because I was never living in the now. And I was constantly looking for the next thing, planning the next thing, being in the next 10 seconds, but obviously can't do that. My brain was just always there. And it was really stressful and it was really overwhelming. So, putting these little things in place, also breath techniques. I know some people can't be bothered, but it's for me, that is some of the most beneficial things. Obviously, when you're procrastinating on your bed and you're having a meltdown and someone tells you, oh, just breathe, that's not what you want to hear. But it does help. If you feel yourself getting overwhelmed, you feel your um nervous system panicking a bit, just breathe, not just breathe, but you know what I mean. Do some breathing techniques, bring yourself back down, and just connect with yourself, be like, okay, I'm here for myself, I'm okay. Yeah, and I'd say I've just gained so much energy from doing this because I'm not wasting my energy on things that stress me out because I'm just at peace with myself. Not 99% of the time, probably 80% of the time I'm at peace with myself, which is very good, I think. Um, Another thing I want to mention, which one of my friends mentioned to me, and oh my god, absolutely life changing. So yeah, morning pages. This was a completely new topic to thing to me. I don't know if it's a really common thing. It might not be. You may have already heard of it, but if you haven't, basically it's a morning practice as soon as you wake up. Don't check your phone. I mean, I literally turn off my alarm, open my blinds, and I do my morning pages. That's how it works. For me, at least. There's no one right way of doing it. It's just a flow of thoughts. They don't have to be positive. They don't have to be happy. It's whatever you feel in the now. And I love it so much because it makes me feel so present with myself as soon as I wake up. As soon as you wake up, you're giving yourself time with yourself. How amazing is that? And that practice makes me feel so amazing because it's I've been up for 10 minutes and I'm already giving myself time just to be me. I've given myself space just to be me. Absolutely amazing. I love it. Honestly, so grateful to my friend for recommending that. Absolutely adore it. It's from the book The Artist's Way, which again my friend recommended to me. I have the workbook, not the actual book. You do a page every day for 8 weeks, I want to say. And it's basically about healing your creativity, that part in your brain. And it's about, yeah, I guess opening yourself up to being creative and unlocking those parts in your brain that you've put in prisons. And they can only work if they only come out in certain times or certain ways. And the point of them, well, for me, what the morning pages gives me is it's just time, space, and it just to slow down. I know it's the morning and I know you've just woken up, but it's just kind of space to be you. And it's I read this quote about them, and it's when you do morning pages, you cannot stay stagnant because your mind is moving, your thoughts are, your hand is moving. And I think the author said, the author of The Artist's Way, she was saying that's why she loves them, because you can't stay stagnant when you write your morning pages. So if you wake up and you feel a bit stuck, do your morning pages. You are meant to do 3 pages every day, every single day. For me, that's just not possible. Some days I wake up and I'm like, oh my god, I'm late. I want to get somewhere or do something or whatever. Or some mornings, you know what I mean? So but I just try and write a half a page or 1 page. At the moment, I've only been doing it 2 weeks, 3 weeks. No, 2 weeks. And I think like 4 days out of the 2 weeks, I haven't done 3 pages, but it's just there's no rules about it, and actually one thing I was really fascinated about is it doesn't need to be positive, and I thought it had to be, which seemed like so much effort because you just woke up, and, like, yeah, it's like, even if you're writing, I hate this so much, like, I have to do this every morning. That is okay because it's what you're thinking, and it gives yourself clarity, it gives yourself peace, which goes back to finding peace within yourself. It's clearing your thoughts before you're awake, and it's setting yourself up for success. I think it's beautiful, and I think if you can, also in the book it says wake up half an hour earlier to do these pages. I mean, I'm a really slow writer. I'm dyslexic, very dyslexic. So also, something I thought was really cool is apparently she says, put them in an envelope and never read them again. Don't let anyone read them. Don't let yourself read them. They your thoughts in that moment in time. Never reread them. I don't like put them in a letter or anything. They're just in a book, but I won't reread them. Also, my handwriting, as soon as I wake up, is very questionable, and I don't think I'd be able to read it anyway. So it's just about getting your thoughts onto a piece of paper, having a flow of thoughts, putting yourself into a peaceful space. Yes, you might hate it for the first couple times, but I think it's quite rewarding, and it just leaves me feeling productive, and it leaves me feeling like I've done something for myself and I've only been up for 10 minutes or like half an hour, you know what I mean? And if you think, okay, well, that's not very, I know I wouldn't be able to do 3 pages every day, do 1 page. You don't, like, I mean, I know the practice is 3 pages, but I think for me, there's no point me saying, oh, I'm just not going to do it because I can't do 3 pages. Do 1 page, do half a page. Also, I have a very small notebook. Like, I've got a special small notebook, I've got a special small notebook just for it. So I'm saying it takes me 40 minutes to write 3 small pages. But if you can only do half a page, give yourself 2 minutes to do half a page. Probably doesn't take many people 2 minutes to write half a small page, but it would for me. Yeah, I love morning pages. Also, maybe you had a bad dream, write that dream down. How did it make you feel? Go into topics. Also, I heard my friend told me this, and she was saying when she's writing her morning pages, she mentioned, so if she wants to go on her phone, she'll be like, why do I want to go on my phone? What does my phone give me? And I loved that, and I thought that was so cool. And she completely gave me this idea. Like, she like, I'm like, it was like when she told me this, I was like, oh my god, I have to start doing that. And I was so excited to wake up the next day because I was like, I cannot wait to do this. So she was like saying, like, she got to the root cause of why she wanted to go on her phone. And I did that because there's like moments in my book, like in my morning pages, and I'd be like, oh, like I just want to put music on, or I just want to go on social media, or I just want to see what my friends have messaged me. I found the reasons was it gave me like it gave me the feeling someone's telling me who I am, because in the morning you're very influential, your brain's very, you're just waking up. And when I went on social media, I felt like I was getting told who I was, or who I should be. And for me, that was quite a relief because I just woke up. I don't have to think too much. I'm just like going with the flow, but that's so wrong. And I found that out, and I didn't realize that. I normally don't go on social media straight away, but I realized as soon as I was going on that, whether that was 2 hours after I woke up, I was looking for someone to tell me who I was, but that was wrong. Anyway, try out morning pages if you can. The book's called The Artist's Way. It's about recovering your creative part of your brain, I think. It's a beautiful book. I love it so much. Could not recommend it more to anyone. It is for anyone as well. And if you don't think you've got the time, do half a page. Like, do half a page. Also, the workbook you don't have to do in the morning. You can do it whenever in the day. I haven't done my workbook page today, so I'm actually going to do that after this. I hope you all I hope you enjoyed this episode. Whether you took something from it, it reminded you of stuff, or you feel more connected to yourself. I hope you have a beautiful week with so much joy, so much love, lots of beautiful plans with beautiful people. I'm sending so much love to you all.